Hi everyone, welcome back. In this lecture, we're going to explore a powerful concept in Python, classes and objects. Before we dive into any code, let's take a few moments to understand the concept with some real-world examples. Let's start by thinking about something simple, like designing a house. Imagine you are an architect, you draw a house plan. It has 2 floors, a red roof, 3 windows, and 1 door. That house plan is not a house. You can't live in it, but it tells you how to build one. This plan is like a class in Python. It describes the structure, but it's not the real thing. Now suppose we take that same plan and actually build 3 different houses. One is painted blue, another is yellow, a third has solar panels. Each of these is a real house based on the same plan. And that's what we call an object in Python. So here is the big idea. A class is a blueprint. An object is the real thing built from that blueprint. This same concept works everywhere. Let's take one more real-world example, a car factory. Imagine a car company like Toyota. They design a car model on paper with 4 wheels, a steering wheel, engine and some features. That design is a class. Now the factory builds hundreds of real cars using that design. Each car may be red, blue, black with different features. Those are objects, real cars based on the same class. One more real-world example, mobile phones. Let's say you define a class called mobile phone. This class says every phone has a model name, a price and storage size. That's the template. Now you create 3 phones, an iPhone with 128 gigabytes, a Samsung with 256 gigabytes, and a Nokia with 64 gigabytes. Each phone is an object created from the same class, but each holds its own data. Well, we explored classes and objects using real-life examples like house plans, car models, and mobile phones. Now it's time to move from concept to structure. Let's clearly define what a class and object are in standard Python terms. A class is like a blueprint or a template. It tells Python how something should be structured. An object is an instance of a class. It contains real values for the attributes defined by the class. For example, we'll define a class called student. This class will describe what data a student should have, like name, age, and grade, and what they should be able to do, for example, display their own info. Once we have this class, we can use it to create a real student object. Each object will hold actual information for one student. Let's say one student is named Aman, aged 16 in 10th grade. Another student is Sarah, aged 17 in 11th grade. These are individual objects made from the same class. Here's how the flow works. We define a class named student. Inside the class, we define a special method. It's called the constructor. This constructor is responsible for setting up the initial data when a new object is created. We will learn more about constructor in upcoming lectures. Next, we give it 3 values, name, age, and grade. And those values are stored inside the object. We also add one simple method called displayInfo. This method will print the student's details. It's a nice way to group behavior with the data. Now, once our class is ready, we create actual objects. We create one student, pass in values like Aman, 16 and 10th. Then we create another student, Sarah, 17 and 11th. Each object holds its own data, but they are both created from the same class. And when we call the displayInfo method on any student, it prints the values for that specific student. Aman's object prints Aman's details. Sarah's object prints Sarah's details. That's the power of using classes and objects. Here's another helpful way to think about it. If you write a recipe, that's the class. If you cook a dish using that recipe, that's the object. The recipe tells you what to do, but the dish is the real thing. In Python, we define a class using the word class. Then we create objects using that class and store real data inside them. We can access and modify that data using special methods. In this next lecture, we will learn more about classes and objects with coding examples. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's now jump into PyCharm and start building our own class. Let's create an OOP folder in our project. Right click on your OOP directory, choose New, then Python file. Let's name it class_object. Now let's define a class. We start by typing the class keyword, followed by the class name. Let's name it person. Note that the class name should always start with a capital letter. Next we type a colon to open the class block. Now press enter and we're inside the class. Let's now define the constructor, the method that runs when a new object is created. Let's type def, that's the keyword used to define a function. Then _init _, that's the special method name. Inside the parentheses, we write self name and age. In Python, init is a constructor, a special method used to initialize the newly created object's state. This init method will get called automatically when a new instance of the class is created. Next, self refers to the object we are creating. In Python, you must write self as the first parameter inside any method of a class. Next, the name and age are the values we'll pass in. Now inside the constructor, we store the values. Let's type self.name equals name. This means the name you pass in will be stored inside this object's own name variable, self.age equals age. That's it. Our class now knows how to store a name and an age when it's created. After the constructor, we define another method inside the class. Let's type def, that's the keyword used to define a method. Then the method name greet. Inside the parentheses, we only need self. Then a colon to start the method block. Now inside the method, we print a message using the name and age. Let's say print function. Within double quotes, type hello my name is, then we use self.name, then type and I am, and we use self.age. That's it. We've defined a behavior for our person class. So when we call this method, it will print the name and age for that specific object. Let's now create a real person using this class. Outside the class, we create a variable called person1. We assign it to our class name, which is person, with parentheses. Inside the parentheses, we pass the values, for example, Ravi and 25. This line creates a new object and automatically calls the constructor. Now let's make this person greet. Let's type person1.greet with parentheses to call the method. Let's run the program and see the output. The result is, hello my name is Ravi and I am 25. Perfect. The object was created, the values were set, and the method worked. Let's now create a second person. Create a variable called person2 equals person with parentheses. This time pass the values Sarah and 30. Then call person2.greet. Now run the program. You will see, hello, my name is Ravi and I am 25. Hello, my name is Sarah and I am 30. This shows that both objects are separate, each has its own data. So let's recap this example. We created a class called person. We added a constructor to store name and age. We added a method to greet using that data. Then we created two separate objects, each with different values, and each object could call the greet method. This is the foundation of object-oriented programming. You define a class like a blueprint and then use it to create real objects like actual houses built from that plan. Classes and objects help organize code, especially in larger projects, and make it reusable, clean, and powerful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.